Awesome. So how many of you guys have worked in some capacity with a startup or have a startup of your own? Show of hands. Guys, you guys are totally dead, yeah. Oh, more energy, guys. Anybody? Okay. Awesome. How many of you are interested in taking up some kind of a role with a startup or starting up yourself in the future? Awesome. Very nice. So what I'm going to talk about today, so let me introduce myself first. I'm Raghav Verma. I'm one of the co-founders of Chayos. For my marketing team, I'm going to do a little research as well. How many of you guys have heard about Chayos? Very nice. And how many of you have been to one? Cool. Awesome. So my entrepreneurial journey started about almost 5 years ago. And I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I think it takes to start up, some of the things that I think it takes to not make the mistakes that I made when I started up, and also some of the things that you can do better, right? So how do I change the slide to this? Do you have something? Awesome. So I grew up pretty much in Bombay, and I came to IIT Delhi. I started studying at IIT Delhi from 2005. 2010 was our year of placements. I got placed in Opera Solutions, which was one of the best jobs on campus. And this was a US-based consulting firm. And we got to travel quite a bit to the US with Opera, and it was really amazing. It couldn't have been a better job for someone who just passed out of college. I was in New York. I was working with clients of the likes of American Express, and it was really good work. Working on client side, working with some great people, and at the same time, the kind of life we had there. All of the expenses were taken care of by the company. So it was an amazing 2 years almost that I spent at Opera. But after that, I somehow realized that there can be something more to this. Like this is not just it. So there was always the thing at the back of my mind that there was a desire to create something, to make something big and to make something great. And that was the time that you had the likes of Zomato and you had the likes of Flipkart which were coming up. So these were people from colleges like ours, and it just kind of reaffirmed that belief that yeah, something big actually can be made. So it was just that age, we spent about 3-4 months thinking of a lot of ideas. Alongside the job, we really couldn't do much about it. So what we ended up doing after that was we just said one day that we'll quit. So it had been 2 years of consulting, and then we quit. We had no idea in mind, and we said, "Chalo, dekha jayega." We'll just figure it out along the way. So leaving like pretty high-paying packages, sat for 3 to 4 months with like nothing to do, because we hadn't figured out what our idea was, what our startup was going to be. So you can just say this. Yeah. So we basically wanted to do something big. Like that was the thing from the start, that we are quitting very well-paying jobs. We're quitting a great consulting lifestyle, a lot of learning. So there needs to be a purpose behind quitting that job and doing something big, right? So we looked at a lot of sectors. We looked at real estate. We looked at loyalty programs, and finally we decided upon education as a sector that we would want to pursue. So there was a lot of cool things happening then in the US. There was a lot happening in adaptive learning. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of Coursera. So Coursera had really come up then, and a lot of people were going in for signing up for those free courses. So we thought that let's make a solution that will give students access to good quality content, good quality educational content. Having cleared IIT JEE, and one of my co-founders had cleared CAT before, so we said that yeah, this is an area that we recognize. So let's start off with that. And so that was how PrepSquare.com came up, right? The idea of PrepSquare was that we wanted to provide great educational content from the best teachers So this was the idea of PrepSquare.com. We wanted to build in great adaptive learning, great analytics. We wanted great video content from the best teachers across India. So even for the tier 2, tier 3 towns where they don't have access to the best teachers, we wanted to create video content from teachers, make sure that the teachers are really well compensated for the content they've created. So we worked in partnership with these teachers, and we wanted a great assessment tool. So if somebody goes to a FitG or to a Vidya Mandir, they get access to classroom coaching, but they don't get access to great assessment. So what we said was that you can attend your coaching classes, you can come back to us, and you can actually get great assessment. You can identify what you do well, what you don't do well, right? We ran this for about a year, and we actually signed up for the Times Internet, the program called T-Labs. This was an accelerator program. 3 months into it, the day we were going to get our check, we actually returned it back. Because we realized that this was a game that we did not know how to play. This was a game that possibly we were too early into the game when we started this off. So we realized that it was the parent who was the decision maker, and the major factors here was that the kind of time that the student put in and the brand value of the offering that they took was more important than the price. So if somebody was paying a 2 lakh rupees for a FitG or a Vidya Mandir course, they were still not willing to pay 2,000 or 4,000 rupees to us. And we realized that this would possibly take us at least 4 to 5 years to be able to say whether it worked or not, right? And this was a heartbreaking moment because we had spent about a year of our time. We had given up cushy jobs, invested a lot of our money into it, and built a product. Got to the point where we were about to raise funding, and then we decided that this is not going to work, right? So I think one of the key learnings for me was it's very important to know when to quit, and it was a hard call to take. It was a call that we took over a period of 2 to 3 months, but it was a good call because then it opened up opportunities to actually move on to the next thing. So some of the learnings that we had here. The biggest learning for us was when you start off, you need to have a captive audience that you can test out your product on to understand what works and what doesn't. This is something we didn't have here. We needed to do a lot of marketing. We were not able to get the people in. We required a lot of investment to do that marketing. So having a captive audience where you can just run a pilot, you can invest a certain amount of money and know, does this work, does this not work, right? Another very important learning, when you pick that idea, it needs to be a big idea. It needs to be something that you are willing to invest a lot of your time into. That might be 2 years, it might be 5 years, it might be 10 years, right? But you don't know as of today how much time you'll actually have to invest in this. So it needs to be something that you are exceptionally passionate about and that you have a lot of belief in, that this is something that can become super big. So what if you don't have that one big idea, right? You find someone who does and you go and join them, which is what I did later, and I'll talk about that. And knowing when to quit, that was one of the big learnings also. After a point, it starts to feel that I've invested so much of my time, so much of my money. I'll just try and put in more effort, and I'll try and make it work. But yeah, we had to take that call because we knew it was going nowhere. And just to understand the customer offering, that's very important. So the customer is never going to tell you what you should build, right? The product that you build, you need to put that out for the customer, and you need to pilot that, and you need to test it and learn from it. So then coming to the next part of my innings, which was Chayos. So my co-founder and I worked together in Opera Solutions, and after I packed up from this, I spent about 2 months just trying to figure out what is the next offering that we can build, what is the next thing that we can do. And honestly, at the end of those 2 months, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So the choice was that I could start looking for a job, but I was hell-bent that I want to give startups one more shot. Right? So I got in touch with Nitin, who's my co-founder, and he was thinking of this idea then, which is Chayos. Right? So we got to talking, and we saw that there was a compatibility, and we believed in this idea that in a chai drinking country, you don't have an option to get a great cup of chai, which is wrong. As you step outside your house, the only chai that you get is the tapri wali chai, or you get the machine chai in offices, or you get the dip bag tea, which nobody wants to have, right? So the market potential was extremely large, right? For every cup of coffee that is consumed in our country, there are 30 cups of chai. 30:1. And at the same time, at that time, there were about close to 3,000 cafes which were dedicated to coffee alone. So you have a 30:1 consumption, and at the same time, you have less than 100 cafes for chai as opposed to, say, about 3,000 for coffee. So this was a belief which we went out with, that people would want to have a great cup of chai outside of home. They will even pay money for it. And what we got to hear from a lot of people was that, chai to 6 rupees ki milti hai. Who's going to pay 30 rupees or 40 rupees or 50 rupees for a cup of chai, right? A lot of people told us that in offices chai is free. Why would anyone ever come down and waste their time, waste their money in actually getting a cup of chai? But it was this core belief that we had that this is something that India as a country needs, that the people of India need. And again, the idea was very big, right? From day one, we didn't want to open a cafe that could cater to say 5 locations in Delhi and be happy with it. We never wanted to stop there. Our vision was that we want that every cup of chai consumed in India should be a chai's chai. So if it's a chai you're having in the morning, it should be consumed with our chai patti. If it's a chai you're getting if you're getting a chai in office, it should be a chai's chai. If you're having a chai later in the day, then it should be at a cafe when you hang out with your friends. So yeah, average Indian has 2 cups of chai every day. That's a big one. I have 5 left or 5 more. Cool. So yeah, I actually won't get into the presentation, then I'll just talk through it and then we can have time for some questions. So yeah, the idea for us was that we wanted to start off from a captive audience location. We started off from DLF Cyber City. That ended up working out really well for us. In the first month itself, we managed to break even from our second month of operations, which was a big deal, right? We invested all of the savings that we had into it, and we said, "Ye paisa agar khatam ho jayega, to then we are shutting down." So we gave ourselves 6 months. Either it works out or it doesn't work out. And what we saw was that one of the leading cafe chains had a store in that same building complex, and we saw that they were doing 25,000 sales per month, and once we opened up, we ended up going to like 30,000 sales a month, and our competitor ended up going to like 5,000 sales per month. So that actually told us the power of not having a brand, and yet just on the basis of product, we were able to create some kind of a pull, which actually got all the people to us, right? So that was the best proof of concept that we could ever do, that the people from that same office are coming down and they're spending 40 rupees on a cup of chai. So there could be no bigger validation of this for us. So along the next 4 years, and it's been 4 years now, we've been trying to do a lot of cool, innovative things around chai. So we've started off delivery of chai. Nobody before us had actually delivered a hot beverage, right? World over. So we were the first ones to start delivery of hot chai, and we guaranteed a 30 minutes time. We developed these disposable kettles, keep the chai hot for an hour. And the response we expected would come in from offices, and the amazing thing for us was that we started to see that response coming in from homes as well. So a major percentage of our deliveries actually come from home now. So people are not making their chai at home, but they're calling us or they're ordering from our app to get their chai delivered home. Because of what is key to Chaios, and I'll talk about that, that's the personalization that we offer. We offer 12,000 varieties in which you can make your chai. So somebody who wants an adrak tulsi elaichi chai, make it kadak, give me less milk and add half a sugar. that's the level of customization that we're able to give. We are able to get everyone their Meri Wali chai, and which is why we have much higher loyalty kind of metrics as compared to the industry. We get about 45 to 55% of our customers who are actually repeating customers, right? So that kind of loyalty is not seen in the industry. It's because chai is a product that you consume every day. Chai is a product that you consume multiple times a day. Alongside that, we've also done some key partnerships. So we've tied up with SpiceJet, we've tied up with IRCTC, we've tied up with all of the major e-commerce players, and we're serving them our instant pre-mixed chai. We're serving them our premium flavored chai pattis, which is actually not available anywhere, right? So getting these key partnerships has really helped us to build the brand, and we continue to try to expand our product in terms of innovating it, in terms of being able to cater to more and more occasions that a chai drinker will have. Another thing we've done, this was very different from what a standard F&B company does. We've invested a lot into technology. So 1 year back we took a call, and it was the best decision we've ever made. We took a call that we're going to set up our entire technology ourselves. So we earlier had a lot of different vendors who we worked with, but we built our entire technology system from scratch, and now we have the kind of intelligence that we've been able to, we can exactly monitor which member of our team has made a chai in how much time. We are able to streamline that entire operational process. Today, if there are 20 vada pavs in a cafe and the vada pav consumption is slow for that day, we can actually send out SMSs to those right customers who are fans of vada pav and give them an offer. So it's a completely 360-degree linked system where our customer side of things, our operation side of things, and our entire supply chain, all of them are linked, right? So the target is that using technology, we want to really be able to standardize our offering, give customers the best experience that we can possibly give them. I'd be open to questions. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have. In case you're interested in partnering with us, associating with us in any way, or you would like to work for us, my email ID is raghav@chayos.com. You guys can reach out to me anytime, and I'll be prompt on email. Thank you guys.